Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Little Fawn, and this is the monthly tarot energy report. And I had planned on doing the cat tarot because I just love it so much again. But a friend of mine came over I don't know, a handful of days ago, and she just brought back, she brought over a ton of, like 6 decks. So that was a super fun day for me. I got to see her and more decks. And some of them resonated really strongly, and then some of them immediately, there was like a name that came into my awareness, and I just had a lady date with, she was actually one of my very first voice teachers, and now is like a really, really very dear friend. And one of the decks, I was like, oh, this is her deck. And so I gave it to her. But anyway, so I'm going to use one of those decks, and what's interesting about it is, had I like seen it on a shelf, it probably, like, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. But then when I was talking to her and I opened the deck and started looking at the cards, I was like, the cards were actually literally vibrating in my hand, and I was like, these are, and the artwork is really cool. So it's the Fantastical Tarot by Natalie Hertz. Very cool. This is the back of it. But yeah, I don't know that I would have picked it for myself, but now that I have it, it's a very cool deck. The Guardian, there's usually like a card that reveals itself to kind of be the guardian or the essence, the energy of it. And for this deck, it was this 2 of Wands. I mean, I am definitely I carry a lot of feline energy. Even in my channeling, I'm channeling Star Lions and Lyrans. So there's, the first time I had my Akashic Records read, the woman who didn't know anything about me said, oh, they want me to open the records for She Who Lays with Jaguars. And I was like, how do you know that? Because I only do it in my dream time. So this will come as no surprise after that, that this is these little babies are the guardians of the deck. The black jaguar and the regs jaguar, in that 2 of Wands. So yeah, they're really cool, and I like to use 2. So the same friend who got me the cat tarot also got me this Dreamer's tarot, which is very cool. It's not a deck that I would recommend to a beginner unless the beginner was just intuitive and needed like just a jumping off point from an image, because the images don't typically give a whole lot away, but also there's a lot there. They're simple line drawings that kind of remind me of my partner's art in some ways. And it's a very, what I like about it is it's a very androgynous deck. So we have the Seeker, the Messenger, the Mystic, and the Dreamer, and that's the Page, the Knight, the Queen, and the King. So that's cool. And I'll show you the backs too. The back of the fantasy one has this fabulous little dragon, and then this Dreamer deck has this kind of sacred geometry. But yeah, they're very cool. Line drawing, like this is the Seeker of Cups. So yeah, I'm gonna use these 2 decks anyway. Because oftentimes, like I say, I don't really have a choice. And the Pause Tarot will, I'm sure, be making a return at some point. But why not get a little fantastical, seeing as how these are indeed fantastical times. The month of May, I don't know how you all felt about it, but there was a lot of cool breakthroughs, I feel like, at least for me personally. A lot of downloads that came through for me, and a lot of epiphanies, a lot of breakthroughs. It's funny, I pull a major arcana card every month, just kind of as an archetypal energy forecaster. And it's like kind of like the intention with that is that it's both kind of, this is the energy present, and this is also kind of a clue as to how it will be helpful for me personally inside of it to work with it. And for me last month it was the Tower. And there were quite a few Tower moments where it was like complete, like, whoosh. I had one the other night. I know it was June 1st, but on the heels of that, I had one of those, such a strong soul epiphany moment of I was the Tower, and the awareness that came through was the lightning bolt, and it just cracked me open in a really beautiful, profound, and powerful way. So I look forward to following where that leads. It was an invitation for a healing, and also a glimpse into the open path that would result in the wake of that beautiful healing. So yeah, we did a lot of burning ceremonies over here, a lot of releasing old timelines, releasing old identities. I do a practice with people where I take them into a guided meditation that ultimately becomes the quantum healing for timeline pruning, and simultaneously releasing of the old identities, because sometimes we can have timelines that are kind of like, I know I've used this analogy before, where there's a in Las Vegas, when we lived there for that hot second, there's, once you go south, like below the main strip, and then there's Henderson and people like who actually live there and are people, there's a point where it just like stops and there's nothing. And that was kind of how they showed me some of these timelines, like they're just there, but like also why. So I help people to prune away, and then also to kind of collapse in, because a lot of timelines can be redundant. They're the same lessons, and sometimes hamster wheels that are playing out on other planes contribute to a hamster wheel playing out in this plane. And it's best just to dissolve those out. And then the ones where there is mastery, the ones where, I don't even know what kind of grammatical nonsense that was that just came out of my mouth, but the ones where there are gifts and mastery to be gained, given the nature of these times and this kind of evolutionary expansion and ascension that we are actively in, we can begin to spiral up, and in doing so we can collapse some of those in and bring them into our new home frequency. And what that effectively does is it amplifies, or the word they've given me is it fattens the frequency of this kind of prime directive lifetime as we are perceiving it now, so that we can really become these embodied light beings that are ushering in and co-creating the new earth experience. So yeah, there is a lot of shedding in May in order that the path may be clear enough to even see where the heck we're going, and kind of look at that. It's funny that this card's on the front here, but so that we could kind of look through and go, well, what are we even looking at? Now that it's all clear, what are we looking at? So yeah, let's get to it. I feel like June will be a little bit softer than May. May kind of felt like a blink that was also multiple lifetimes within that single movement. And June, while it is lighter, I just did on my Happy Tree Oracle channel, I just did that report there, and a lot of the energy this month is going to be like, just find your frequency and pulse it, allow that to open up your pathway, and then follow the frequency into form, because you're going to want to move faster than it is best to move right now. And things are moving, but it will be move, and then there might be like a, and it's kind of the same idea of sustainability. So if you want to do a split, you could jam yourself into it. You might get it for like a second, but you will pay for it later and you won't have it after. But if you do your due diligence and you stretch every day and you sustain a position and stretch a little farther, and then sustain the new position and stretch a little farther, then by the time you get to it, you have it without even having to think about it, and you have it all the time. And that's kind of the point right now, is we want everything to be sustainable and maintainable, not just like, look, I did it, oh nuts, now I'm like, I just got set back. So let's kind of take a look at these overarching themes, and then we'll get a little more info with this fantastical tarot. So we have first up the 8 of Pentacles, but it's upside down. So this first week is kind of like, what aren't you doing? You know, if you want to write a book, but you're not actually writing, but you're crying about feeling like you're not fulfilled or nothing's moving and I don't understand it, what's the thing that you're not doing? So this first week, take your truth and your freedom and your forward movement will lie in that which you are actively avoiding. Like I'm still actively avoiding making my website. So take a look at that and start to begin the inner practice of just dedication and focus to something. Even if it's just yourself, even if it's just saying, like, start with something simple, like, I want to wake up at, for me, early would be like 9 a.m. maybe I want to wake up at 9 a.m. every day. And that might suck for the first couple weeks. But if I dedicate myself to it and I practice it, and I focus on that, then the time that I give myself allows me time to write, so that I can write a book. You know what I mean? So it's things like that that will be worth looking into and taking inventory for this first week. Because in the second week, we have the Messenger of Pentacles. And that Messenger of Pentacles is the, he's the worker, he's diligent, he's focused, he's committed to seeing it through. So once you take inventory in that first week, and once you go, okay, what is it that I'm not doing? What is it that I want to see manifesting? And am I actually supporting it in my thoughts and my words and my actions? By the time you get to the second week, you start the practice of the practice itself. You can start it sooner by all means, but that second week will really put you in that flow of slow and steady really does win the race. And P.S. it's not even a race. Like it's just an experience. So you still can enjoy the ride, and you can't do it if you're zipping past. Outside of the exhilaration of the speed, when it's over, what are you left with? So just like take your time and see things through, so that again you can plant the sustainable and maintainable future that will be whole soul fulfilling. And then the third week we're moving into the major arcana, which is the Sun. So again, joy, it's all good things. It really is. It's abundance, it's joy, it's celebration, it's growth, it's coming out into the light. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. I'm so excited. I'm going to share it with you. And I'm going to share it with you from my joy. Like, again, I'm just using the book narrative, but like, write the book because it's the book you want to read. It's the book for you. Take your time. Do it right. Be meticulous. Don't overthink. Sometimes that Knight can overthink, or the Messenger, which is the Knight in a regular Rider-Waite tarot, but do it all from that sense of just, of just inner joy. Like, I want this experience and I want to express this thing, and I want it because I want to write this for me. Like, if I saw this book on the shelf, I would be like, oh, this book. And that's the point. And that frequency holds such power, as opposed to, how can I get rich quick? How can I, you know what I mean? How can I get to, it's like you take the manipulation, and I don't mean that word to be like nefarious sounding, but like when you're, or maybe micromanage is a better term. Like when you take that kind of out of the puzzle, and you set your intentions as pure, then you're better able to really kind of, we watched a girl the other night, Sarah Breskman Cosme, I think I actually said her name right, and she's a QHHT practitioner, and for my money, like, she's the one that Dolores Cannon just went, here, baton, you, go forth, finish, continue, not even finish, but continue this thread. And she's just so pure, and that radiates. And you know, in any field, especially in 2025, like, you find that there is a fear element, there is a micromanaging, there is like a little bit of fear manipulation happening, even in the spiritual field, where we all see the thumbnails that are like, you'll never believe, or they don't want you to know. And my partner always laughs at me because I like to read them when I see them all in this voice, because it makes me laugh. But she doesn't do that. She's just doing her work. She just genuinely wants to help people. And her energy is so genuine and so authentic that she's kind of like exploded into this, you know, this success now that she didn't really expect. This wasn't her end game, you know. She wound up here because she just kind of followed the threads that were in front of her, even though in the beginning she was resisting. So again, that which you resist persists. And but at the same time, you have to be ready. Everything is an offering, and it's our choice whether we accept it, or whether, you know, we want to take the long road or the hard way. But it's also, you know, sometimes in a dualistically designed collective consciousness, it can be hard not to say, but if I do this, I can't do that. If I explore this, then I'm no longer that. Who am I? Like, when we start to understand we're all of it, we're everything, we're divine, we're a fractal of source, like, our capacity to experience and express is limitless. You won't stress so much about these kind of threads that you follow. You just follow it until it's obvious that it's time to follow another one. And yeah, I mean, I'm an Aries sun, so I have no problem following threads or starting them. But it's important that we allow ourselves just to be authentic in both our experience and our expression. And that is the resonance point that is going to draw to you exactly what it is that you ache in the form of like fulfillment and manifestation, because it'll be your own authentic pulse going out into the world. And someone else, more than just one someone, is going to find that harmonic and be like, oh my God, I'm not alone. This resonates. I'm like crying listening to this. Like, how is this? Or they'll have their tower moment where that awareness will come in and it will split. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I now see so much clearly. So yeah, authenticity and joy. Because moving into we have two major arcanas right next to each other. Moving into the final week, we have the reflection card, which is the Hanged Man, and in this deck it's a bat. And bats, I'm sure I've told the story 8 million times, so this is the $1.95 in case there are new people. Bats fall into flight. They don't have the strength in their legs to run and lift, and they don't have the strength in their wings to just full-on launch. So they have to climb and release. And when they release, they fly. And that is kind of the gist of it all. It's like when you let go, the wings are built in. We all have them. And so at the end of this month, as we move through that kind of reassessing and then getting to work and then stepping out into the light and truth of who we are in full joy, full authenticity, then we can kind of look back on the whole of it, and it'll be time to shift into an even more nuanced perception of the whole, because every time you move a rung up the spiral, and that is the movement that all, especially if you're tuning in here, that is the movement that is happening in the ascension game, in this evolution of human consciousness. Is, you know, linearly, it's like you're rolling along, but actually it's more than rolling. We're going this way. And so as you move up those wheels of that sacred spiral, you come into it's a new realm, it's a new matrix, it's a new frequency spectrum. And so you want to get your bearings on this new playing field. So as you open this up for yourself, again, it's like, okay, let's reassess one more time, and then fine tune and move forward again, that pulse and that glide. All right, so let's see what this little fantastical tarot has to say. Now that I've chatted and chatted, I'm actually going to get some water too. I got a new sticker. This little, it's like sacred geometry, but it's also got this kind of like fairy, green witchy kind of vibe to it, next to my little fox. My water bottle is like graffitied with stickered. One of my favorites, it's fading, I'm gonna have to get a new one, is this little fawn. Look how cute. How cute. These little kitties. Okay, we'll stop with sticker. We'll stop with sticker story time. Okay, so what does this fantastical tarot have to add to these kind of core themes as we move into the month of June? So tell me more about that Eight of Pentacles, more about uncovering what it is that isn't the doing that isn't being done, so that we can kind of step up into and for ourselves. And then we're moving into that Messenger of Pentacles. How can we maintain patience? The slow and steady, where is it ultimately leading us, and how can we participate in it from that place of joy? And yeah, the sun, hey, let's just lay down some more joy, or like how we can support that, how we can make that sun card sustainable for us moving forward. And then a little clarity on what it is that we'll be reflecting on at the end of the month. I love a deck with a good back, and then when you shuffle it, you're like, that's fun. So immediately what comes in under that Eight of Pentacles is the Death card, which is the card that I pulled for my personal energy read for this week, just the energy of the week. And so this is a transitory week, which makes sense after kind of how May was. So there's gonna have to be a release of some of these old, outworn identities that we've taken on. And sometimes it can be as simple as me saying, oh, I'm an Aries, I start a lot of things, but you know, I don't always finish them. Well, maybe that's a sentence I should stop saying. Maybe I can amend that by saying, I'm so good at initiating things, and I'm learning how to follow through. Like, I'm learning how to really fine tune and follow through in a very powerful way. So it's like shifting those types of statements and identities so you can shift the frequency. Yeah, so you gotta let those old habits and those old patterns die so that you can begin the work of an artisan. We're all artisans of our own lives. Underneath that, we have the Page of Swords, which is upside down. And I always kind of feel like the Page of Swords, like in this deck, she kind of looks like, wah, wah, like she's like, man. And even in the Rider deck, when I look at that Page of Swords, I always feel like of all of the pages, he's the one that has the energy of like, but like I could be the knight, I could be king even if I wanted to. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's like he's the son, or he's the nephew, he's the somebody that's like, well, like I could do it better, but he doesn't really have anything other than ideas. He's not educated yet enough. He hasn't had enough life experience. It's just talking about all the stuff he could do and should do and would be awesome at, but there's no follow through. And then at the bottom of that, we have that Five of Pentacles, which is often the lack card. And this deck, it's very interesting because it's like two bros like sipping some wine at a fire. So maybe they're commiserating is what it kind of looks like, and maybe not seeing their true worth for what it is. So underneath this Eight of Pentacles, it's like you really have to understand that everything is inside of you. So this first week, like, let go of those old stories, let go of the old crap, really get into your worth, and stop playing small. Stop telling stories of, like, you know how people are like self-deprecating, like, oh, that's really, no, it wasn't, I mean, I'm not really that great. No, start owning it. Start owning it, but not in a way that is all talk. Again, that Eight of Pentacles says, hey, you know, to that Page of Swords, like, you gotta start walking your talk. That's the point of this week. So when we move into this Messenger of Pentacles, we have the Nine of Cups, which is really pretty in this deck. We have the Seven of Swords, which has kind of been a stalker in 2025, I'm not gonna lie. We have the Page of Pentacles, which is funny underneath this Messenger of Pentacles, and that Ace of Swords upside down. So that the energy here underneath this kind of slow moving movement is don't try not to allow yourself to lean into fear. So that Nine of Cups upright is like, the world is your oyster, wishes fulfilled, anything you can dream, anything you can think of, it's literally like, bink, it's yours. I dream of Jeannie. She says, sure. But upside down, it's saying just as easily, because we are all in a time of rapid manifestation, you can just as easily manifest your fears. So you want to be mindful. Don't worry that it's not moving fast enough, or you're gonna miss it because you're moving slow, or time is passing you by, life is passing you by, you've already missed, like, take that narrative out of your head. And that Seven of Swords under there is like, again, it's shining a light on those fears. So know your motive in this movement, and keep it clean. And the Page of Pentacles underneath that is like, that is the one who is like, I'm learning, I'm taking classes, I'm reading, I'm watching YouTube videos, I'm doing everything I can to again fatten my frequency, whether it's through knowledge, whether it's through practical application and experience. I am the seeker who just really wants to absorb it all so that I can become even more grounded in the truth of what it is that I want to create. And that Seven of Swords, again, between the Nine of Cups upside down and that Page of Pentacles is saying, like, it's a time to be resourceful, but again, check your motives. Motives are really, 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 really important right now. And anything that doesn't come from a pure intent of the highest and best good of all, which includes you, it's gonna fall like a house of cards. It's gonna collapse. It cannot sustain because the foundation is not sound. It's not solid. And that Ace of Swords says, like, it's upside down. So that point of power is on the inside. There is an opportunity here. There is a new beginning here. It's not happening as fast as you want it to, but it's on the table. So just stay that messenger of pentacles. Stay focused on that. It's like when you pull your arrow, you have that point, that target. Let it fly, and then just follow it, trusting that it landed exactly at the target. And again, that Ace of Swords too, it's on reverse. It's like, it's really kind of coming into your own place of power from the inside. And that's something that will be echoed at the end of this. But that point of power that lies within, where you don't need to worry, like you don't care about what anybody else is doing or what's going on, because you know that it's all being generated from inside of you. So moving into that sun, we have underneath it the wheel, which is also super cool in this deck. The Empress, which is beautiful. And what made me laugh was another Eight of Pentacles, except this time it's right side up. And then we have, which made me laugh, the Hanged Man, which just amplified the fact that there is definitely going to be another reevaluation time, a time of going within. So that wheel upside down underneath the sun is just saying again, don't try to avoid the hamster wheel of the old thinking. So you have this opportunity for great joy, and the Empress is under it, which is abundance and fertility and creativity. So all of this is available to you. That Eight of Pentacles upright says, yeah, you're actually putting in the work at this time. So don't worry if things seem to kind of like, if you get a roll back where you're like, wait, but I thought I already see anything that is kind of like a bounce back as an opportunity for you to look at something from a new angle that can dissolve it out completely. So it's like anything that you roll back into during that time, this third week, is going to be an opportunity just to dissolve and echo into the light. So it's not about repeating. It's not going to be about, oh, this always happens, I always end up getting every time. It's more about, oh, okay, so I'm actually moving up the spiral. And when I do that, some stuff's going to shake off, and I might like whoop, slide a little bit, but ultimately it's just to be like, no, so that I lighten that frequency and lift, like shed some of that density, so that you can again take another quantum leap. And the wheel too, it's like everything is a cycle. Everything, like the world literally keeps on turning. The only constant in this whole human experiment and experience is change. And it's time for humans to really embrace that and not just get like stuck inside of these old outdated paradigms and beliefs and ways of kind of like these just limitations. Life is so much more. We are so much more. We are multidimensional. We are magical. We are multidimensional. I said multidimensional, but you get the point. We're divine. So it's time we start acting like it. You know what I mean? But again, from that place of clean, heart-centered, love-rooted motive. And this Empress, she is the divine feminine. She is that embodiment of that creative energy, and that's what you're going to need, like this artisan, this diligence. It's saying keep doing it. You've made the choice to do it. You shed out a bunch of stuff. You carved out a path. You're learning as you go, which is also part of the game. It's not like, oh, I better learn this and get everything ready and then do it. Nope. You just gotta go. You just gotta do it. And it's not to say be like rash and foolish, but if you wait for circumstances to be perfect and for all of the, degrees. Like, one of the things that I had to really, really wrestle with for a long time was that imposter syndrome. Well, I'm not technically trained. I didn't go to a real college. I only went to a music theater conservatory, or I've only had, I only have certifications in aromatherapy and Reiki. But ultimately, my world experience, my life experience, my working with the teachers that presented themselves to me, my working with my students, my working with my clients, my Eight of Pentacles with myself has opened up my channel to receive wisdom and receive modalities and receive things directly from source. We all have that capability. So we need to trust in that source point frequency, trust in that, our capacity to really open that channel and tune it like a radio station to a fine point, so that we can trust that flow coming from source through us, as us, and into that fatten frequency that leads us to this like next level experience and expression of our soul truth and our soul purpose and our soul joy. So you don't need to have the approval of anyone. It's time to, like the Empress, just know it, just embody it. Be like indigenous to source, so that you can carry all of that wisdom through you. Be like a wisdom keeper, a wisdom teacher, but you teach by your doing, by your being, in a way, again, that emits kind of a glow and a frequency and a pulse that vibrates out and creates these beautiful harmonics that encourage and invite other people to lean in and create these beautiful chords that not only help them to awaken and evolve on their own little sacred spiral, but again, we're fattening a larger collective frequency that moves us more firmly and solidly into that new earth matrix and frequency spectrum and playground. And the sun is, an accurate depiction of what that is. And that's all inside of us. If you're here now, you're already encoded with it. It's why you're here, to just anchor that frequency in. And so again, we move into that Hanged Man, and it's saying, listen, you gotta kind of pick your head up and take a look at what the offering is. Or if you're upside down, kind of look at your world from upside down. Look at it from sideways. I always say, like, the Tim Burton view, like that kind of diagonal. What is it? What are the other facets? Because it's not dualistic. It's not flat. We're not black and white. So when you realize the coin, hello, I do it every time, is a sphere has many facets. So, like, what are some of these other points that maybe kind of give you that, that like awakens something else that further opens you up and again widens your own path. So double Hangman, rebirth, we move into that Ace of Pentacles. So we have two aces and they're both upside down. So if the Ace of Swords is kind of stepping into your power, it's a new beginning that will be empowered, but it's not going to be on your timetable. It's going to be on Spirit's. It's going to be the highest and best good for all. So this Ace of Pentacles, again, is saying there's a real good opportunity here. It's an opportunity for a new beginning, and this one, now that you've learned how to root in your power as a divine creator, this is the one that can start bringing fulfillment, bringing in prosperity, really sending out and rolling back to you that highest and best good of all, including me. They just gave me an image of like just gold coins cascading everywhere, but it's upside down. So again, that generates from inside of you, and seeing as how it's directly under that Hanged Man, you're not going to get to it in the way that you thought. It's going to require a little bit of creative thinking, and creative innovative movement on your part and action on your part. And in support of that, we have the Queen of Swords, and she is she uses her words. She's not afraid of words. She is clean and concise and to the point. So that last week of June, if we were just figuring out what it was that we wanted in the beginning of the month, come the end of the month, we're now asking for it. We're now commanding our creative field. Whether you're asking spirit, whether you're asking in your actual day-to-day reality, but you're going to want to temper it, because we have strength at the bottom here, and that strength doesn't come again from insistence. If the first part of the month is insistence, the second part of the month is there will be no insistence. You want to that true strength is through softness. When you tame, and I know I just posted over the weekend the video about my little blind cat Archie having his dark night of the soul. I'll put the link below if anybody missed that. But the way to bring him home wasn't through insisting that he get back to normal, and so we'll, you know, trank him, or we'll bag him and put him in a tiny cat. Like, there were so many ways that it could have gone, but what we did was we created the frequency of acceptance, compassion, and love, and allowed that little triangle to pulse out a frequency that he could hone in on. Like, it could create a harmonic for him to find his way, his own way, and then ultimately he did. It was a wild ride for about 36 hours. If you want to hear the story, like I said, I'll put it below. But we want to move forward. We want that sharpness and that conciseness and that eloquence and articulation that the Queen of Swords has, that empowerment, and she's side by side with that Empress. So that's a formidable team coming out that row. You know, you just came out of that Page of Swords like, I could do it, but, and then you have that Seven of Swords. It's kind of like, you know, you're figuring it out. You're shining the light on your shadows so that you can know your intention and get a little resourceful. But these two women are resourceful. They are powerful. They are empowered. And so that divine feminine energy is going to help propel us forward in a way where, again, you got to name your demons to tame them. A friend of mine said that to me once. So you got to use your words, name it, whether it's something you're clearing or something you're creating, and you want to make it, you tame it, again, because we're looking for sustainability. We're not looking for something, we're not looking to gain success at the expense of anyone or anything else. We're looking to co-create something that's good for all of us, and that makes our own hearts sing in the process. So you want to have that quiet strength, that inner strength, that strength that doesn't need to announce itself or flex or prove itself at any point. It's just a knowing. And also like a genuine courage, because again, we're going into places yet unknown. And if you're going to step off of a cliff in the dark, in the pitch black, you're going to need a little extra to do it. And right above that strength card is that Five of Cups. So that strength is going to be gained in actually finally releasing. Again, like, there's something to naming your demons in order to tame them, because you want to release that grief. You want to stop hanging on to all the could-haves, the should-haves, the would-haves, the wrongs, the betrayals, the traumas. You want, and again, not to minimize any pain or any suffering or any wounding that has come from it, but you have to ask yourself, how long do you want to carry those stories forward? And is there a way that you can reweave that narrative from the healed place in a way that creates a higher frequency harmonic that can perpetuate that healing without needing to constantly dive back into the shadow that created it? You want to like kind of dissolve all of those frequencies out so that we're moving to move into this higher octave. And again, you're not bypassing, but you want to truly, again, love the shadow into light, which is again what we did with little Archie. You love it into the light so that it makes the choice to be the light and be the partner. And you have that quiet strength within where you know that if you have gone through this kind of a portal, which is what this is, you're not the only one. Everyone here is doing and experiencing the same thing in their own way. So it invites us to have compassion for all of it, and also kind of like this sense of knowing inside of us that, you know, we're living in a time where isolation is like the best weapon that will help the shadow to continue to rise. But really, none of us are alone. We're not alone in spirit, and we're not alone in that there's so, and my ear is like going cuckoo crazy right now, ringing. We are all in this together, and we are more alike than the media outlets and what's being spouted now everywhere would have us believe. So again, choose to see, you know, when you look into, she looks into that lion's eye, such a beautiful card, and sees, and like Ken, I am another you. Namaste. You know, the soul in me sees the soul and honors the soul in you. When you live your life from that, when you look into the eyes of another and you see the soul, that source point frequency, that essence of love, and you acknowledge it, you amplify it, and you amplify your own. And if we can all start doing that with each other, and come into this kind of unification process that allows us to still be beautifully unique expressions of Source, but we're coming together to kind of weave the same tapestry where each one of our gifts and each one of our mark and each one of our offerings and colors all gets to shine on its own as something like sparkly and beautiful, but together when you zoom out and look at the whole, it's like, oh, it's the difference between a solo voice that is beautiful and powerful and then having a choir of 500 singing at you. And that's a whole different kind of resonance, and that is fattening the frequency. So fatten all your good frequencies this month. Be patient, hold your integrity high, keep that as your barometer, and walk your talk. It's very important if you want things to change in your own world. If you do what you did, you're gonna get what you got. So you gotta be brave enough to kind of step into the unknown and know that you are the path clearer. You are the way shower. You're the leader of you. You know what I mean? Each one of us, and we'll find again, like the river, where you're like, we have all of these choices, all of these things we can do, and I don't want to pick either or, because that's what the dualistic nature of this incarnation in this third dimensional reality tells us. But when you understand that we're more than the third dimensional reality, and you go, okay, it's not either or. I can put 2 feet into something, and I can follow that flow and know that we'll all meet in the bigger sea, in the bigger ocean. You don't have to worry, you don't have to fall into fear about any of it. You just pick, you experience, you express, you play, enjoy, encourage each other, cheer each other on, play with each other. This is the way forward. So this looks to be a very powerful month, this June. But remember, in spite of some of these seemingly heavier cards, there is an offering of great joy right at the center. And if we make that our focal point, you see how everything can kind of flip into the support of that. So yeah, don't be afraid to take a breath and reevaluate. If you find yourself on a hamster wheel or you find yourself stuck or stagnant, take a moment to complete the exhale and really take a look around and go, would I benefit? Like you probably would benefit from the pause. Pause is, you know, I think I told you guys that Kaspari was asleep for a little while. And in the beginning I thought, oh no, am I like doing, you know, humans, am I doing something wrong? But he wasn't asleep. He was asleep to dream, like in stillness. That is our most powerful point of creation. So in these moments with this double hangman here and these pentacles, the 8 and that messenger and the page, don't be afraid of the stillness, because in that stillness is a very, very, very powerful point of power, of creation, of just leveling up again that spiral. And allow yourself that, both as an integration for these higher frequencies coming in, after you clear the space by releasing all of the lower frequency or the denser debris. Allow yourself space for that integration, and then allow yourself that openness of the stillness and the empty space in order to create, again, the pulse from the heart of what it is that you want to feel inside of your creation, and invite the universe to play with you. All right, so I'm gonna leave you there. I've talked plenty, but really cool reading. And yeah, I may see you this weekend, or I may post one of the Asha files as I reboot myself this week. I have my own 8 of Pentacles that I need to sit with. So one way or another, I will see you very soon. I'm very grateful for each and every one of you. Keep shining your beautiful lights. Yeah, keep shining your beautiful lights, and encourage the light and the love in others. Nurture it in others as you do yourself, so that we can really, really start to see that which we see and feel in our stillness begin to just emerge as this beautiful new reality that we're co-creating together. Okay, I'm going for real now. I love you all. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, follow, share, all of the things, and I will see you soon. Okay.